The first time I went to Cali, I think I was just turning 40,
Hmm.
and being an adult and experience a lot of cultures and going to Cali was still for me, it was an assimilation process, even
Of
being
course.
an adult. So I can only imagine yourself being as young as you were, being thrust into a new culture, into American culture where everything's fast, fast, money, money, money. I'm sure you're giving us just a half in this book,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you sharing that in this book because I can only imagine. I mean, one of the most difficult things that I'm struggling with right now is trying to learn Spanish. It is difficult for me.
Difficult.
So,
No, I'm trying to learn Portuguese, and I have 5 fours that I've been working with for the past like 3 years or more, and I can't seem to get out of past that. So I get it; it's hard.
yeah,
Music
yeah.
is a great way to learn a language, though.
Hmm. And
Music
just
is,
and just being in the culture,
yeah,
enthralling yourself in the culture, to me helps a lot because one of the things I noticed is there are different dialects of Spanish. Dominicans speak a different dialect. Mexicans speak a different dialect, and even within Colombia, I'll listen to somebody from Bogota and I'll listen to somebody from Cali, and it's like that's
totally,
different.
totally different.
It's different wording.
And we speak very slangish. We have slang for everything. We have nicknames for everything. We have
Yeah.
slang for everything. So if you're not, even for me, sometimes because I'm not always in the flow, I live
Hmm.
here, I have to like catch up. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what is this new word everyone's talking, saying?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's you will get it. You will get there, especially if you spend, physically more time there. You will get
Yeah.
there. But it's hard. It's super hard. So I understand. Now let me ask you, what is the glue for you in Cali? Like, what was
Great
it that
question.
grabbed you, you know?
So I've been pretty much all around Colombia, all the major cities, Cartagena, Medellin, Bogota. I've been to all the major cities, and then Cali was on my list, the very last of my list of cities to go to. But when I got to Cali, it was 2020, and it was just something about the city that captivated me real quick. And the first thing was the people. The fact that even though the people could not, I'd say 96% of the people could not speak English, they were really, really nice.
Hmm.
Always I would get when I'm walking down the street, hola, como está? Like, and to me, that kind of threw me back a little bit because I didn't get that warm hospitality in the other cities. It was just like, okay, another American, another gringo, whatever. But I was definitely receiving a lot of hospitality in Cali right off the bat. Second thing was just the pride, the pride in culture. It seemed like the people really really happy for the most part. I'm sure there's aspects that I haven't seen because I'm not a native, but there's the people get along fairly well. It was my observation initially, and to me that meant a lot too. But I think the main glue was just the fact that it was not just Americanized. Like I say, it was more authentic culture that was a different, unique culture than some of the other cities that I experienced. In particular, with salsa, because I had never seen like a Boulevard del Rio. I never seen anything like that. Every Friday, it's a party. People get out in the streets and they dance and they drink. I thought that was amazing, you
It's
know.
therapy.
And a lot of people would give Rio de Janeiro in Brazil a lot of credit for that. But when I went to Rio, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that level of community, party, fiesta, whatever you want to call it. I didn't see that aspect of their culture. Not to say Brazil is great, but I'm saying I didn't see that. And to
Mhm.
me, it was like, yeah, this is somewhere I want to be because you got, good food, great people, nice people, even though we can't communicate very well yet. Nice people, and it's an authentic culture. Yeah, this is where I need to be. That was, I mean, basically that one trip just did it for me. I was like, yeah, I've never
Yay!
Cali. It's one trip.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. And we need that, right? Because Cali's like it's like the forgotten child. Like nobody cares. It's like
it kind of is. I mean, Medellin gets so much credit.
so Bogota, Cartagena. I was like, I'm going to
Yeah,
Colombia, I'm going to Cartagena. I'm like, so you're going? I love Cartagena. Two
yeah, me
times.
too. Yeah,
To a certain degree. But again,
Yeah.
it all surrounds catering to tourists. I can't go to
Right.
places like that. I can't. That to me is not culture. You know what I mean? That's
I
like
agree. Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So Cali, it's always forgotten. So the fact that you're doing this initiative, and what is the International Man of Mystery? I want to know.
So I came up with that based on the fact that when I was younger, I grew up in Mississippi, and most of my family and friends, they had never been out of the county, let alone the state, or obviously not to a different country.
Hmm.
So I always had this goal and this dream that I was just going to be this single guy that is just going all over the world and just experiencing cultures all over the world.
Hmm.
And so I just kind of came up with that on the fly in college. That I was going to be an international man of mystery. People was going to wonder, where is he? What is he doing? And I was going to be in a different country every other week. Now, obviously, it hadn't panned out that way. I mean, I work a full-time job, so I can't travel all the time. But I have experienced a lot of countries and cultures, and I will continue that. So that's where that comes from.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Why not?
Yeah, you only live once, and I think we as Americans we get too narrow-minded, that we get so caught up into our culture and what we do, and our way is the best way, that sometimes we don't get out of that box we're in and experience other cultures. There's things in Cali that I'll tell you that I wish were aspects of America. For example, just the ability to be able to go to a salsa club and dance. When's the last time you've been to a club, like a nice upscale club in America, where people dance? It's usually everybody's kind of doing this right here and watching everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Miami or in the outskirts of it, and I can tell you that they do that here, but they keep the culture because it's very Latin and because it's
Mhm.
very, there's a lot of Colombians. They do keep that here. They keep that,
Mhm.
but a lot of places don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You go like I don't know about New York so per se, but I lived in Philly for a little while, very close to Atlanta, and just people don't dance like that anymore. It's very traditional in Cali, where the guy will go up to the girl, ask her to dance, and then that's it. It's not like anything else other than that. It's just, hey, I want to dance with you. And I think that is interesting and amazing.
So you haven't learned the language, right? But have you learned to dance?
The quick answer is no. I'm
Okay.
about as offbeat as you can get, but I'm still learning though. Like, I'm open to learn, and so every time I go to Cali, I'm definitely going to salsa clubs. I do need to take a class, but I think it's one of those acculturation things, really, MJ, that you want to get out there and dance, but at the same time, everybody in Cali knows how to dance very well, at least to me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, everybody
everybody.
on the dance floor does. Not everyone in Cali. There's some people that can listen to it but don't dance to it. There's
Wow.
you get them all. You get them all.
I mean, I like I say, I've been to a lot of clubs and bars in Cali now, and it seems like it just comes natural for
Yeah.
people to dance there. It's definitely in the culture, and I'm not trying to be the guy on video who's all off beat.
And you're not trying to become a meme.
Now I'm not trying to become a meme. So, but I definitely want to learn. I
Don't be
definitely
that guy.
No, I don't want to be that guy. Because let's just be real, right? We Black Americans think we can dance like we're the best dancers in the world, in the country, definitely. And then I go to Cali, and it's like,
Yeah. No, it's a
wow,
lot. It's a
yeah,
lot. My friend says that we Caleñas, so in general, move like we're dancing. Like we could be cooking, and it's like our whole body movement is how like we're dancing. And I find myself sometimes I'm like I said, like in the supermarket, no music playing or something, and in my
hmm,
head it's playing though, and I'm dancing in my head, and I'm swaying without even realizing it. Like it definitely is an innate part of our culture. It really,
yeah,
really is. And I'm not saying that to be like poetic. I'm saying that to
yeah,
be very quite honest.
yeah.
We hear music in our spirit. Like Caleños do hear music in our spirit. So like I can be gone for however many years. You can never take
Hmm.
that away from me. You can
That's
identify me in a group. You can
and that's what I
identify
wanted
me
to
in
ask.
a group. You'll be like, she's hearing salsa in her head, like right now.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. what part of you is like definitely Kalina? Like it's never going to change. It's never going to leave your character. What part is that? Is that salsa dancing or is it something else?
It's various. It's like the root of
Okay.
who you are, right? Like I think my gringo self is the branches, right? So but the root of who I am
Hmm.
is that warmth. You know, I don't know how to say like hola, ¿cómo estás? I always say hola, corazón, ¿cómo estás? You know what I mean? Hola,
Yeah.
cariño, hola, mi amor, hola, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, I can maybe not even know you and be like, bebe, you know, like, it's just, I can't help myself. It's just like a
Yeah.
thing that's very cultural. And
Yeah.
like, it feels weird not saying something in addition to saying good morning. Good
Right.
morning, my love. Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning, you know, precious. And to some people, like, she's so extra. You know, she was so extra. I'm like, but they don't understand that's cultural, right? Like,
Exactly.
they don't
It
understand
is.
that's cultural in English.
Right.
Um, and also feeding people, like Caleños,
Hmm.
you know, our culture in general, but Caleños for sure. Like, we're like, you know, vas a comer? Did you eat? Are you going to eat? We're gonna, you know, like it's always around. Like the love language is definitely feeding. I think
Hmm.
that that's definitely me all day. Like I'm feeding myself or feeding others. Like so that part, that warmth, that movement of like moving through life with like a rhythm. Like I think that
Hmm.
that's definitely Caleño, and that needs to help. Like we're always very of servitude. You know, not only of feeding, but like servitude. Like how can I help you? Where are you going? How do you know?
Yeah.
Um, where gringos can like pass you by and not ask you or care or you
Yeah.
know, and not just gringo culture, but you know, so many cultures.
Definitely a Western stigma in our culture that if we're busy, don't have time for you, keep going. I need to get where I need to get.
And I think our culture in Cali, all around in the world, is changing. You know, I think
It
it's
is.
becoming a lot more
Yeah.
Americanized, I guess, maybe, or something. I don't know
Yeah.
what the word is particularly, but so yeah. So I think like the essence of who I am is that like I'm not of
Hmm.
here, but how I deliver my language, how I present like my outer self is definitely very gringa. You know, I'm very direct. I'm to the point. I'm antsy. I'm, you know, can be bitchy at times if you're like, if you're not talking fast enough or moving fast enough. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a New Yorker in me that I'm like, okay, I only got but so much time. So,
Yeah.
you know, that I can't linger and have like conversations for hours, which Caleños can, you know, and I
Right.
can't, but so yeah, so it's a dichotomy definitely lives inside of me, but the essence of who I am is all day Caleña.
Nice. Nice. I just recall something too. You asked me earlier, what was that glue that kept you enthralled in Cali culture? And I'll give you a story. I don't think I've shared this with many people, but when I went to Cali, unfortunately, I contracted COVID when I was in Cali.
Oh, okay.
And that was the time when the testing was mandated. You had to get a test to leave the country. So I tested positive, and this young lady that worked at the testing center, uh, she let me know, and not only did she let me know, like she was calling me almost every day, checking in on me. Didn't know this young lady from anybody, but she was genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, no romance thing or she liked
Yeah.
me. It was more that, hey, this guy's stuck in the country for several days. He had a quarantine in this country. I want to make sure he's okay. He doesn't have any family, friends here. I want to make sure he's okay. And that, MJ, was like, you know what? This is the place to be right here.
And I
I mean, I
believe
was shocked. I was
you.
I couldn't believe that she was doing that. She was offering to bring me soup and all of that, and it's
That's how we do.
was amazing. It was
That's how,
amazing.
yeah, I believe you. And, you know, on top of that, Colombia as a whole took COVID very seriously. Like it was extremely much more than America, much more than I think,
Right.
you know, where definitely where we were.
Yeah.
But I believe you. I believe you. My brother sometimes like, no, I'm in the bus because I'm taking groceries to my employee who blah. I mean, there's a long story. There's always some long
Yeah.
story. That's the thing with
Yeah.
Caleños, right? There's always a long story. You're like, okay, what is the point? Like that's where that's where like my American self comes. I'm like, okay, so what's happening? But yeah,
Hmm.
like I'm taking groceries, like buying people groceries is not like a weird thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, giving people money is not a weird thing. It's like, if
Yeah.
you have it and you can give, you should give, and
Yeah.
people do give.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people in need. Like, I really want to highlight that. Like, there's a lot of people in
Yeah.
need. There's a lot of people that need resources, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that need work, that need employment, that
Right.
the work ethic is not always there,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not always, hasn't been always, the opportunities have always be there, right? Like, haven't always been there. So it's a lot of stuff going on. But if you're able to help, if you're able to bring clothes, if you're able to, you know, bring resources, or just have extra like $30 or however
Mm-hmm.
much you can buy somebody groceries, do it, please. Like,
Right.
it's just a pay it forward. We're a very pay it forward society, you know,
Right.
community. So those that have often give, and those that, you know, don't have, give in a different way,
Right.
or give others that have less. So
Yeah, that reminds me. You mentioned off air that you were involved in a project in Cali that basically was almost like a biography at an institution for boys, right? Displaced young boys that needed a home, that were basically abandoned and needed, you know, a home, needed shelter, and, you know, a place of refuge. Can you tell us about that project a little bit?
yeah, so that wasn't like a one woman show too. That was like a documentary that I did on my own, and I just took a camera and went to Colombia at one point, and started filming children that lived in an institution from Bienestar Familiar, which is child services. There is a lot of that. There's a lot of families that cannot sustain their household for reasons of addiction, reasons of non-employment, reasons of so many reasons. Poverty is definitely like a generational curse in Colombia, right? Especially in Cali, there's a lot of that. And so, which I want to pray to break that so bad, because like, if we can just get out of that, we can thrive.
Yeah.
But so that generational curse, it shows up in ways that a lot of kids wind up without families, right? Wind up abandoned. And it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. And so they wind up in an institution, kind of like in a dog pound, just a whole bunch of kids just sort of there, you know. And so I went in and filmed a little bit, like I did like an 8-minute reel, and showed it with the intent of getting funded to do a bigger project. But as life would have it, you know, I didn't get to do the bigger project. But that storyline, it lives very much inside of me, of not just highlighting it, but being able to help. And I know you mentioned that you want to help, and anyone who wants to help, we can definitely get the resources in place, so that, you know, the contacts and everything in place, or if they can funnel it through you, and then you funnel it down there, and then, you know, you and I, and we can get you situated there with the right people. I highly suggest that, because to offset that, I wound up working with a nonprofit organization here in the States called KidSave, KIDSAVE.org. So look at that. And so what I did was, when I was in New York, I was one of the leaders there. What that organization does, what that organization does is they pair people that want to adopt with kids from Colombia that are open for adoption, right? That they're part of the Bienestar system. And it's promoted for older kids. So there's been a slew of older kids that have been in institutions that have migrated here to the United States as citizens, because they have been adopted through these families.
Nice. Good.
Yes. So that I did in New York, and I did 1 year here, because there was no one here to do it, and so I launched it here, and we had one adoption.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. So that's such a beautiful, like that. Anything I do, it always leads back to home. You know, anything I can do to help home in whatever capacity I can. I wish I could do more. I had more time to do more, and even more resources to do more. But that's why, you know, there's power in numbers. So if we can collectively come together, then then we can spread and make a bigger impact.
Absolutely. I definitely I try to encourage Americans to go to different cultures, not just Cali, Colombia, but, you know, any culture, to give back. Don't just go there and then enjoy a lower cost of living, enjoy the culture. Don't take from the culture. Give something back. Give something back to the culture. And this is a good way of doing it. I want to get more involved in this. I don't have any children, but I certainly would like to help displaced children because a lot of those children have a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
Absolutely.
It's just the environment that they're in. They unfortunately been dealt a bad hand in life. And if they just had some resources or some people to look up to and say, hey, that person did it. That person is nice. That person's not into crime and drugs. Then that gives them the motivation to be successful and be great and be on the right side of the law. That's all they need.
and and giving back can look in different ways. Like right now, one of my friends is in DR, and I forget what section, but she's in DR helping build homes. Like she's
Nice.
literally, she works a corporate job, and yet she's, through the organization, through the firm, she's over there with a slew of people, and they're going
Right.
brick by brick, cement, layer by layer, building homes for, people in need. So, you don't think about going to DR or,
Right.
Haiti. Obviously Haiti's a little bit problematic, but in different
Mhm.
places, you don't think about going there. You just want to
Right.
like absorb and eat off the land, but like to give
Hmm.
back is so important, and
It's
it's
important.
definitely an encouraging.
Good.
Definitely want to encourage people to do that.
Definitely, definitely. And you've encouraged me, so I'll definitely be working with you to get in touch with some of those institutions there
Beautiful.
in Cali, and be able to do whatever I can, whether it be monetary, whether it be uh, providing footballs to the kids, shirts, whatever whatever I can do, because even in America here, I've done that. I've gone to boys and girls clubs and detention centers and talked to young men and women, and a lot of times they just need a little bit of motivation. That's all they need. And so we're going to be talking about that more, MJ, for sure.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah. No. So yeah, thank you for plugging my book. Okay.
But sure, I want to pivot back to that book. So, where can people go get this book? I mean, I think I've already mentioned that it's on Amazon.
It is
Um,
on Amazon.
mhm.
This is me. This was my passport picture. I didn't know when I took this passport picture that my life was going to change in such a way. Like I was wearing a Hello Kitty shirt. I was in Colombia thinking I was going on vacation, and yeah, life changed tremendously. But
That's great.
it's a cute story.
Yeah.
It's an easy read. It's whimsical. It's I DJ in the process, right? Because like I'm from Cali, of course I would, right? Like I put a lot of music. So
Yeah.
music is like the backdrop of every story. I talk about the acculturation process, but I also it's a very personal story. So it's
Right.
not like it's focused on me.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell a deeper story, but I just didn't feel like it was. I didn't feel like it was the right time, and I didn't feel
Mhm.
like it was the right situation. Sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
you can't just put people's stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people came to me when I wrote this, like, oh, I want to write my own book too. And I'm like, yeah, but don't drag people in the process. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that.
Right.
So
Right.
I was very careful. It was a dance that I did that I just, told my story mostly, like 100%
Right.
really actually.
Yeah.
So, so you get to know about me, but it's not really about me. It's just like a character, right? In time. It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was crazy. It
Yeah.
was, could I have added more? Absolutely. I could have added more, but that's why I at some point want to write, I want to turn this into a series. So
Nice.
and tell the whole story, like the
Nice.
entire story. Yes.
So when can we expect? Is this in the
I
works,
need, I
or this is in
need, I
the
need to
future, or
win the
what?
lotto so I could. I need some time. No, writing takes time, and I was able to write this book. I wrote this through pandemic, so I was writing. I had a full-time job, but I
Mhm.
also at night I would start writing.
Yeah.
So it took some time, but I did it. I got through it.
Mhm.
But writing does take not just time to write, but time to get into that headspace.
Definitely.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
just need some. I just need some downtime to do it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely heavy on my heart to do it. Like 'cause
Very
I
good.
don't know. I don't know how long I'm here on this earth. I want to make an impact. I want to tell these stories before they become obsolete. Right.
Well, you've already made an impact because you released this book, and it is a powerful book. And like the way I described it is a book, a story of somebody's life, but it's like a roller coaster because it keeps you enthralled. It's a lot of turns and twists that you're not expecting, and you learn a lot from this book. From just the Spanish that you provided, Spanish words, to there's a lot of musicians and music that I didn't know of until I read this book. So you shared a wealth of information. I can't wait to see the sequel, to read the sequel. I can't wait.
Yes, I want to see it on screen. That's where I want to see it. It's on screen.
Definitely. Now, again, tell the people where they can get this book online.
So if you go to Amazon, it's Miseducation of Acculturation is the name of the book. It's MJ Del Sol. And then on Instagram is Facebook. Instagram is the one I'm really heavily involved in. It's MJ Del Sol. I'm not a content creator, I just share whatever I share. Right. But yeah, if you want to hop on the journey, if you want to connect, feel free to do so. If you get the book, I always like to hear feedback. Please always, if you read the book, or I don't know if you did, Jeremy, please write a review, because it helps obviously the algorithm and stuff. And also I want to know what you thought. I want to know how it resonated with you. That was the highlight of writing the book. It's people coming back, oh, this happened to me, and starting to share their, acculturation stories. And that was so cool. That was so cool.
Very good. Well, it has been a great show. I hope you come back, MJ. We'll have to follow up. Yes. Maybe on the work in regards to the institution of young boys. Maybe we can have a follow-up interview on that when we get some things established. But it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And obviously, you made the show interesting, and you have an interesting story. So people, please go out and buy this book. Even if you don't read, if you're not a big avid reader, I'm telling you, you're going to want to read this book. Go out and buy the book, or buy it for a friend or a family member. You can't go wrong with this gift. So again, MJ, thanks for being on the show. And everyone, stay tuned for more adventures, more explorations as we learn together Cali culture. Remember, keep it positive. Always bring good tourism to the Cali culture. All right. We'll see you the next time. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.